Tech Talk with Matthew Dickerson. Matthew Dickerson. Tech Talk. Sit back and relax. It's time to talk technology.
Hello, Groovers. Lace up those dancing shoes and grab a partner because today we are going to twist and shout, do the stomp and the surfing board, all to the tunes of Tech Talk with Matthew Dickerson. Now today we're going to switch around the intro just to get things moving and because Christmas is coming and all, folks. So welcome to the microphone, the man with the grab bag of tech merch for the Christmas season. Welcome, Matthew Dickerson. Please, Matt, can you please introduce today's episode?
I can, but before I do that, you're talking about twisting and shouting. It just reminded me, I actually just went and saw Back to the Future, the musical, the other day. And I'm not necessarily into musicals, but I do admire...
you've got to let yourself go sometimes.
You do, and I just admire the talent and the precision on stage. So I've always admired that. And obviously they've rehearsed and they're so spot on with it. But I thought Back to the Future as a musical, I thought that'll be interesting. You can turn anything into a musical these days. But what I was most impressed by, and I'm not going to spoil it for anyone that is going to go and see it, but I was most impressed by how clever they were with a car on stage. They had a DeLorean, of course, on stage. It was a 90% model. So
imagine if they didn't have the DeLorean on stage. They haven't got a musical. Yeah, that's not right. Back to the Future.
That's right. But to make a DeLorean on stage look like it's doing 88 miles an hour, just with a bit of clever turntable work and graphics behind and in front of the actual vehicle.
Yeah, right.
I was there going, this is impressive. And then it does fly. People have said before, and I'm not spoiling anything here because there's been lots of talk about it, does it fly? Because at the end of Back to the Future, of course, it doesn't drive on the road and go to 88 miles an hour. It just lifts up and flies. And it does fly. It flies out across the audience. And I've gone, wow, that's pretty cool. But it's so much of just a little bit of physical movement of the car, but so much around light and action around
it's
it.
Theatre magic is what it is.
That's basically it, yeah. I think the
with
director...
a bit of tech stuff there.
That's right. I think the director was asked originally, how do you do all that? And he said, we just do
magic.
Mass hypnosis of the audience.
It's all in the drinks before the show.
That's right. Have you had enough to drink, sir? No, sorry, you need to drink more. But I was impressed with that technical side of it. It's very impressive as well. But yeah, good fun as well.
Fantastic.
So,
now,
today,
you're going to introduce our special episode today.
So
it's our Christmas special.
Correct. And way back in 2020, we did a gadget guide. We thought that'd be cool. We'll do a gadget guide for people. And so gadget guide, that was 2 Gs.
2 Gs.
And so the next year, I thought it was a good idea at the time. I thought, if last year's 2G, we're going to upgrade.
Got to improve.
That's right. Telcos do it, so let's upgrade to 3G. So I think it was the Geek gadget guide the next year.
Right.
And so, well, hold on, we seem to be on a path now, a path that I don't know if I want to be going down. But the next year, of course, we had to upgrade to 4G. And so I think it was the Great Geek Gadget Guide 4G.
Oh, you've got a great memory if you
well, it might be wrong, but I think it was that. So we had to keep going. So this year, we're up to 7Gs, and that starts to become, I must admit, a bit of a struggle. So I've managed to come up with the glorious, grand, Great Geek Gadget Gift Guide. 7
Round of
Gs.
applause, folks. Let's hear it. 7 Gs.
7 Gs
You've
for
done
Christmas. 7 Gs for Christmas. So we're going to give you about 20 different little things, geeky things,
Fantastic.
gimmicky things that may or may not work. I can't make any promises, but things that I've found that I thought, that'd be cool.
Stocking stuffers.
That's right. And the thing I love about it is when I do this, I normally go through and look at that and I go, I think I might get one of those for someone. I'll get one of those for one of the kids or whatever.
You give yourself some inspiration.
Well, I think that's it.
how good these are.
That's right. I guarantee I will be buying some of these items off this list, definitely.
All right, folks. Well, we've got to get a lot to get through today, so let's get right into it. Here's the top 20 tech gifts for 2025. Now, if you've ever felt burnt by inconsistent toast, Breville reckons it has the cure. A toaster smart enough to watch your bread so you don't have to. Today we're diving into the colour sensing contraption that could change breakfast as we know it, Matt.
I actually had to ring one of my friends from uni when I read about this article because we're at uni, we were toasting toast one day, a couple of people I used to live with, and we used to say that it's silly that you have a toaster that's based on time alone.
But is it based on time alone? Because I don't think those numbers mean minutes.
They don't mean minutes. They just are a random time.
Yeah.
So a 7 or a 5 on one toaster means nothing compared to another
There's
toaster.
no international standard. We need an SI data unit for toast,
do,
don't we?
We do. But all it does is it's a 5 is going to be longer time than a 3. But it's going to be the same amount of time, roughly, each time. But the problem is you cook a crumpet or you had some food or some bread in the freezer or you had wholemeal or sourdough or white bread. They need different amounts of
slices
time.
as opposed to thin slices. Everything's different,
All of that.
and it all requires a fudge.
So when we were at uni, I remember chatting about, I was doing science and some of my friends doing science with me, we said, wouldn't it be just obvious that you just have a camera inside the toaster that would just look at exactly how brown it was and you choose your brown level and then it pops when it's at that level.
And one of your friends has headed off to Breville.
That's right.
And
many decades later and said, we had this idea, but now I don't think the technology was around in those days to have something that was good enough and small enough inside a toaster to be able to withstand those conditions to make it able to be purchased at a reasonable price. But now we have. So we've now got the Breville IQ850. So it's a 2-slice toaster. It's got little optic sensors that scan the toast 10 times per second. So that seems like overkill, but Breville
seconds count.
That's
seconds count in this game, and so
every-
you can go from from not dark enough to too dark.
in a few tenths of a second, apparently.
tenths of a
So every tenth of a second, it scans the toast, and when it gets to the right brown level, regardless of the time, it says, I'm going to pop you up. You are done now.
Well
so that
done.
means whatever the toast is initially, it doesn't matter whether it's frozen, it doesn't need to be defrosted, it just will work out when it's the right level of brownness. It's also got a special feature for sourdough, because sourdough apparently is a bit harder to get an even texture on. I've never really noticed this in sourdough.
Well,
but
sourdough, it's really hard to get it to go brown. It doesn't often go really brown. It goes it stays a fairly pale sort of colour.
So maybe
Anyway.
there's some adjustment there it does for sourdough mode. So basically you've got sourdough mode and it will be a little bit different and away you go.
And you need your fruit toast mode too. There's a bit of extra sugar in there. It gets burnt too quickly.
Well, I think that's the idea of it scanning the entire bread. So if you've got something like raisins in bread, like sometimes you have fruit in there, they will be a bit darker. So it's scanning the whole thing. It's not just one little spot of the test. So I love it. I love the idea that you've still got this concept of such a simple concept. You just put some elements, you put some electricity through them, they heat up enough to burn your toast effectively is what you're doing.
Yeah.
But we've been using that same method for a long time. And finally, this is the revolution we were looking for.
Well done, Breville. And of course, toast is very crummy. If your desk is gathering more crumbs than compliments, this tiny tech tool might blow you away, literally. Today we're diving into the world's smallest desk blower and whether this pint-sized puffer packs enough punch.
I think that's very clever that you brought Crumbs in from the last one to blow this away. You're pretty good at this, aren't you?
Oh, AI did a great job.
Any self-respecting vague technician has to have a little high-powered blower because when you're working on anything, any computer electronics, there's always a bit of dust that'll gather.
For sure.
And you've got to blow it away.
Keyboards are excellent catches for
they are as
stuff.
well. Absolutely right. Why don't we just have sealed keyboards? There are sealed keyboards to keep water out. Just have all of them like that to keep the dust out. But you want some sort of blower, and I must have been a little battery-operated one for blowing out things when I'm working on electronics. But this particularly attracted me because, first of all, no battery in it. It's just got a little USB cable, so you need to have it plugged into something, so I can live with that. But they've modelled it on a leaf blower. So it looks like a bright orange leaf blower that someone shrunk down and done the job on, so you can then use it to blow out all your stuff. So I just thought from a gimmicky point of view, it's cheap, it's $20, so it's not that expensive.
Does it make the same amount of noise?
Well, I don't think so.
Does it annoy your neighbour in the next cubicle?
Well, the neighbours get mainly annoyed by the fact that you're just blowing the leaves over to their place rather than your place. So maybe your neighbour in the next cubicle gets annoyed by you just blowing dust over on their way. But I do love the idea that it's cheap. It doesn't need to have batteries. Don't worry about charging it up.
Very
you just
quick.
plug it in and away you go. But it also looks impressive on the desk when someone comes in and goes,
Sure.
what happened to your leaf blower? It seems to be smaller than it was last
You
week.
should see the size of my gardener.
That's right.
Now, if you've ever wished that your kitchen had a bit more bite, this quirky creation might just reboot your chopping routine. Today we're slicing into a tech-themed gadget or kitchen gadget that brings motherboard magic to meal prep.
So this is just a cutting board. What are we doing talking about a cutting
But
board?
it's a tech
It's
cutting
a
board.
tech cutting board. That's right. When I
Of
started
course it
looking,
is.
I've gone, well,
It's a cutting board.
How can I justify a cutting board on a tech show? But this is a cutting board that you look at, it looks exactly like a motherboard. It's just basically got a motherboard printed onto it. And I thought, that's pretty cool, having a motherboard sitting there in the kitchen. So you pull out that to cut up your veggies.
You've got crumbs all over your motherboard now.
That's right. And your leaf blower to go and blow off the crumbs on your motherboard. So I just thought that was pretty cool. It's glass. It does all the things that a cutting board should do. Stop scratching from the underneath side. Stop scratching your actual kitchen bench. It's got a few rubber feet on it. So it's a simple cutting board, but it's got a motherboard.
But if you love your tech, this is the sort of cutting board you need.
Well, more importantly, if you've got someone that you know in your life that loves their tech, this is the sort of cutting board. If you want to surprise a geek on Christmas Day, let me guarantee, from speaking from a geek and on behalf of all geeks there, you don't want to buy them something practical, because the geeks want to know that they've researched the practical item and gotten the exact item they want for what they need to do. What you're looking for is a gimmick. And that's what a geek is after on Christmas Day. And this goes right there in the gimmick quarter.
Have we just predicted what's going your 8Gs for next year is going to include? There's a word there that we need to throw in there.
That's right, gimmick. I know. You've done my job. I've got to start thinking about 9G now.
All right, you concert goers, if you've ever lost your mates in a mosh pit, this gadget may point you in the right direction. Today we're talking about a clever compass that keeps your crew together, no phone, no reception, well, no worries.
I actually love this idea. This is almost too practical to be on this particular episode of Gimmicky Geeky Gadgets. When my kids were younger and they were going to concerts, I was a bit worried about teenagers, 15, 16 years of age, going out. And, of course, they had a phone, but you go to a concert, you go to a large gathering of people, 10,000, 20,000, whatever people, and, of course, the mobile phones are pretty much useless. And people find this out when they try and upload their absolutely critical photos to Instagram to show people what they're up to, and they can't do it because everyone's trying to upload their photos to Instagram. But it's a bit more important when you've got someone of that age that might need to be able to ring their parents or talk to their friends. And so it was always a bit of a worry that you'd say, okay, off you go. Just be careful. Stay with your friends. You're not going to be able to ring me because there's going to be too many people there. So this is actually quite a clever creation. It's not too bad from a price perspective, $150. And what it is a 915 megahertz mesh radio network that just communicates with the other devices. So it doesn't need a mobile phone tower. Right. It doesn't need 10,000, 20,000 people communicating on that mobile phone tower, saturating those frequencies. You've just got your people, and you basically sync up these devices together, and they'll operate over about a 4.8 kilometre radius. So you've got you and I going to a concert. I've got one in my hand. You've got one in your hand. We can just send basic text messages, not something too complicated, just a few basic text messages. You can't talk on them, but at least we can talk to each other. Hey, James, I've lost you. I'm going to go over to the pizza stand. Okay, I'll meet you over there. That type of thing. If you really get in trouble, you can press a button on there and it just puts a display on there, so a LED display, so like help or I'm lost or whatever it might be. Right. My name's James, whatever you want to do, just in case you forget your name. So you can do that as well, just to hold that up, just to say people I need some help. But the most important feature of this is that you can have people communicate with each other at a very busy event, totally independent of any mobile phone or external network. So I thought that is a very sensible thing. So anyone that's got teenagers out there, anyone that's going out with friends on a regular basis that gets lost because you've got big crowds, this is a really sensible way to do it.
Okay, road ragers, if you're stuck in traffic and feel like giving fellow drivers the finger, this glowing gadget lets you literally do that. Tonight we're looking at an LED car window sign that turns your hand into a light show. But is it clever communication or just road rage in extra lumens?
Well, I've just got to say here, the public warning is please don't stick your middle finger up at people as you're driving around.
Just be nice to each other. That's except right. But there's this gadget.
This can do it. So it looks like a hand. It sticks on your back window. It's a hand with all the fingers and the thumb shown on there, but you can control which ones light up at any particular time.
This is going to start a situation from nothing where something was really harmless. You might have got a bit of a bip and say you've gone, right, I'm going to give this guy the thing. And next thing you know, we've got something for the national news.
That's right. So don't do that, please. Although it might be funny if you do it to a friend.
Yeah, okay. Only do it to close friends.
Right. So you've got the ability to control each finger individually. So you can have peace sign, which I prefer. That's lovely.
Yeah,
Do a peace sign.
Yeah.
You can have, I'm not sure what they call it. I'd call it the hang 5 signal, but the rock signal, I think.
Oh,
where you've got
with
your
the
pointer and your little finger up.
Yep.
So I'm not sure what
Devil's horns or whatever.
Yep, that's it. All of those, they can do that. You can just basically have the hand or hands, all the fingers lit up as if to say stop, because I'm stopping, so stop. You've got a remote control on your steering wheel, and you can control with that which fingers stick up. So $50 you'll pay for it, and basically it's a little LED car window, little batteries in there. They'll last for a long time. Just something that...
My wife and I have talked about this sort of device. If only you had a device that could communicate with other drivers and let them know how you feel. But I just feel like that there's a major incident waiting to happen.
It's just too easy to just push the one button rather than more than one button, and only one finger comes up. So, again, something nice there. Maybe stick it on the window of your house to someone comes on.
To wave to people.
Trying to tell you they're going to preach to you, so you have little finger signals that might go there. Whatever way you want to use it.
All right, it's time to shed some light on bike safety, or should I say signal some awareness, with a gadget that might turn heads and turn signals when you ride.
So this is in the little bit dearer category. You really want to like someone before you go and buy this one for them. This is the Unit 1 Smart Light Pro Dual. $230 for this one. It's a bike light. So that sounds pretty simple. There's lots of bike lights. Yeah, big deal. This does a few things. It's quite clever, and it can be a tail light or a headlight. You flip it one direction horizontally, it's a headlight. Flip it 180 degrees, and now it's a tail light.
Oh.
It's got a magnet mount, so you basically have a little magnet mount on the front and the back. Put a magnet mount on your backpack, wherever you want to just have this mounted, it just clips onto the magnet. But the thing I really like about it is it's a horizontal bar that's about 10 centimetres long, and when you stick that in horizontal mode on the rear of your bike, so in tail light mode, you actually have a little remote control on your handlebars, so you've now got a turn signal as well. So the tail light turns into a flashing... And you know, some of the flash modern cars have the blinker that doesn't just come on and off, but they kind of...
it points, it sort of drags across the display.
It does exactly that. So it goes across to one way or the other in a different colour. So what I thought was clever about this is that this device can be red or white or an orangey colour, which probably is made up of the red and the white mixed together a little bit, maybe a light red sort of colour. But I just thought that was quite clever to have that. And then that turn signal, because we don't think of blinkers on push bikes.
No, we don't. But I'm just wondering if it's the sort of thing that I would forget to turn off.
So you're turning right forever.
Forever, yeah.
He's doing donuts again. Well, he's just turning right forever.
All right, today we're making a point about pens that refuse to come back down to earth. A levitating biro that turns your desk into a tiny solar system and your signatures into a space-age spectacle.
So what do you call the 5 balls? Are they the Newtonian?
Newton's cradle.
Newton's cradle. Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
So a lot of executives like to have a Newton's cradle on their desk, so they look a bit
Those
sciencey.
executive toys, yeah. I've got got heaps of those sorts of things at the front of my room, and kids coming in and out of the classroom and end up playing with them and stuff like that.
Right.
It fosters some imagination.
And you're showing the conservation of momentum, or you pick up one ball or two
Something
balls.
to be learned in them.
That's right. So all fascinating, but they're a bit yesterday. Everyone's seen the Newton's cradle.
Right. Yeah.
If I'm a Flash executive, then I don't want to have a Newton's cradle on my desk. I want to have something like maybe the Hoverpen Interstellar would be what I'd go for. It's a bit expensive, $170 for this one.
And
it's a pen.
It does levitate.
It does levitate. That's right. It's a pen. When all said and done, it's a pen. So it's useful, more useful than a Newton's cradle, because you can actually use it to write with. But when you put it back in its pen holder, it just sits there and hovers at a precise 23.5 degrees to match the Earth's rotational tilt. Sorry. So,
how about that?
Yeah, that's right. I don't know how precise that is in terms of 23.5 degrees. I haven't measured it, but so they say. So essentially it sits there magnetically holding it in the spot in the middle of the holder. So it's got a little holder around it, but it just sits there and levitates in the middle. So it looks pretty cool. You can pick it up effortlessly because it's only being held there by a magnetic force, and then sit it back in the right spot, and away it goes again.
Wow.
So I just thought that was nice.
I think that's cool. And today we're checking out GoChess Wizard Lite, the smart board putting board magic into your chess game. Glowing squares, app-driven coaching, and Harry Potter vibes, all without needing a Hogwarts letter.
I'm sure they did get the inspiration for this from Harry Potter. one of the things that people like about chess is it's a very tactile game. You and I are playing, we can pick up the pieces, we can move them around on the board, fantastic.
And when you've got a really good chess set, it feels really good.
Yeah, there's a bit of weight in them, so it's all very nice. But then you and I mightn't be in the same location and we want to play chess against each other, so we turn to our phones, computers, whatever, and we play remotely against each other. But wouldn't it be nice if I could combine the two? So I still had the tactile feel, but you didn't have to be in the same room with me. And that's exactly what this particular GoChess Wizard Lite does. It gives me a physical chessboard, and when I move the pieces on the physical chessboard, it's linked to my phone, which then shows you at the other end, wherever you might be, the moves that I've made. Now, you can just play on your phone against me, or you can have one at the other end as well. So then it will light up on the board where you need to move those pieces to. You then move at your end on the phone or on the actual physical board. And then at my end, I go, oh, I see James's move there. I move the pieces at my end and keep playing. So you are moving for both people. It's not moving them across the board automatically like Harry Potter's chessboard. But it does give you the ability to have that tactile feel as well as having the online competition.
You can play with someone a long, long way away.
A long, long way. You can play against
on a board.
A computer. You can play against the actual tool itself, so you can let that show you where to move on the actual board itself. So good for training, good for learning chess, good for playing against someone else remotely. Yeah, I thought it was a really clever concept of mixing the two together, that hybrid model.
So if your household is kicking around for new indoor fun, this gadget might just lift your spirits, literally. A hovering soccer disc, sounds like levitation is a bit of a theme today. A hovering soccer disc that glides on air is promising to turn living rooms into mini stadiums. Let's see whether this floating footy toy is worth the hype.
It's a bit of a mix, this one, I think, between air hockey, which is supplying the air from underneath.
Everyone loves air hockey, yep.
Absolutely fantastic game. And a hovercraft, which is obviously supplying its own air. So this is a soccer ball, or it's a soccer disc, if you like, that's supplying its own air. So it's actually putting a little cushion of air underneath. Obviously only good on hard, flat surfaces, no good on carpet, for example. There'd be too much loss of the air through there. But any hard, flat surface, you've got a tile floor, timber floor, not going to scratch the floor because it's got an air cushion under there, and pretty hard to get it up high enough to smash glasses off the table, like if there was a normal soccer ball in the house, bouncing, kicking around, sounds like a recipe of disaster.
There's a bunch of adolescent boys out there thinking challenge accepted.
Yeah, that's right, maybe. Whoops. So it's called the Fro Play, F-R-O Play, Shining Kick, and it's basically an indoor hover-style ball. So, again, I thought it was pretty cool. It's got some LED lights on it as well, of course. It's got some soft foam cushions around the outside, so it bounces against various things, furniture, walls, etc., and doesn't do too much damage. But I like the concept as well, that you might learn a bit about aerodynamics around cushions of air just by playing with this and getting a bit fascinated by it.
And it's one of those things that you could just find yourself at Christmas time just playing around with, just exploring the possibilities of how this thing operates over your floor.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Ready to see clearly without paying the eye doctor's fee? Strap on some adjustable spectacles and get a puntastic peek at whether these one-size-fits-all glasses really focus or just blur the truth.
And I'm not trying to do optometrists out of a job here, but we've got multifocal lenses now, which are great. So you look through different parts of the lenses, you can see in the distance, you can see up close. That's all fantastic to make up for the poor old human eye that obviously isn't designed to grow past the age of 50, which is a part of the problem when we start to get to our 40s and 50s. So this has got a little knob on the side that when you turn that knob, it will take you from a -6 to a +3. So looking out in the distance, looking up close, changing the focus of those particular glasses to suit a whole range of different eyes in the one pair of glasses. So $150, so not too bad in price. Much cheaper than normal prescription glasses, obviously, and you can just adjust them as you see fit.
I wonder how that even happens. I mean, is it stretching or contracting the lens? What's it doing?
I don't actually know what it's doing.
It's black magic.
It's just magic. Just call it magic. It's pretty cool, though, in terms of having something there. And I know I can see okay distance-wise, but I wear glasses for reading it when I'm looking at things up close. But every now and again I'll be at the cricket or at the tennis watching something at a distance, and I go, I think I'm starting to squint a bit. And I put on my glasses that are designed for reading. I go, it actually looks a little bit clearer. Maybe I need to get some better glasses. Yeah. But having something like that where I just turn the knob, it'd be like wearing binoculars
Yeah.
on your eyes all the time. It's not quite as
Yeah.
good as that, but yeah, it's a pretty cool concept. So go and have a look at that. They're the Smart Focus Adjustable Glasses.
Wow. So who says timepieces need to cling to your wrist? Today we're tipping into the world of ring-sized watches, and the new G-Shock Nano might just prove time really does fly when it's that small.
I suppose we started wearing watches on our wrist after we used to wear them as a fob.
Yeah, it was an item that you wore in your waistcoat.
Yeah, and you'd have your little pocket there with your watch pocket, and you'd pull it out and you look at the time and you'd clip it back closed and you'd flip it back in there. And some genius came up with the idea of sticking on your wrist.
Surely you could have a strap that could fix to your wrist.
Yeah, that's right. Why don't we do that? So they did that, and that seems to be the common thing, and we seem to have accepted that. But now Casio have got a little watch that looks like a big ring. It's a watch that sits on your finger, on your pointer finger or on your middle finger,
Right.
just like a ring would, but it tells the time. Now, it's not going to be a smartwatch. It's not going to do all the things a smartwatch does. But in terms of the old smartwatches, before we had smartwatches, we used to have watches that could do things like have a stopwatch on them, they had the time, they had the day, electronic watches that you used to set, and they used to lose about 10 seconds a week, I reckon. Some of them, they were pretty hopeless as an accurate timekeeper. But this is now all built into something smaller to fit on your ring finger. So if you don't want to wear it on your wrist, just have a watch that's on your fingers there. It looks a bit uncomfortable. When I looked at the pictures of it, it looks a bit uncomfortable. But having said that, it probably would be okay because the actual band itself is what's between your fingers, so that's not too thick. Maybe the bit sitting on top might be a little bit different, but
Catch on stuff.
maybe, but not too expensive. $220 for a watch, but something for someone that's got kind of everything. Then a watch on your finger, it might be something a bit different.
Today we're looking at a gadget that is really for the birds, and I mean literally. A smart feeder with a built-in camera and AI that watches, records and identifies the backyard visitors while you sit back and enjoy the show. Identifies them as well, mate.
Identifies them. This is cool because I am hopeless. We've talked about it before. Magpie, yep, got that under control. Crow, yep, that's it.
Galah, it's the one with the pink.
That's
right.
That's right. We've got a few with cockatoo maybe, and that's about it for me.
Right.
Budgerigar
Emu?
like a spot
Emu?
inside.
Yeah,
Emu,
okay.
that's
Yeah,
right.
you do that too.
Oh, look, I'm better than I thought. I'm up to 6 already. So this is the NetView, NETVUE, NetView Birdfy. So it's something that helps you feed birds. Some people like to have a bird feeder in their backyard to attract birds. That's great. So you get to see different birds. But for me, I see them and go, oh, there's a bird. This
Flappy bird.
That's right, a flappy bird. Look, it flies. This is a bird feeder that's got a camera built in, which means I can do two things. One, I can look at that on my phone. I don't have to go all the way to the backyard to look at those birds, although I suspect the people that put a bird feeder in like to go to the
We'd like to
backyard.
actually, spend a bit of time out there.
But you get notified at least when a bird lands on your bird feeder to have a look. And then, for me, obviously the important thing is it tells you the type of bird that actually has landed on there. So that sounds pretty cool. 1080p camera, 2 megapixels, basically IP65, so rated quite well. 2.5 or 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, so you can basically pair it up with your Wi-Fi inside your house. So you
Very
can be
good.
watching it from wherever you are. You can be at work going, oh, look at that, a spotted crescent, something or other landed on my bird feeder at home. Isn't that wonderful? But I thought just it's the sort of thing that we're getting to now that you couldn't have done not that many years ago. Having something that's small enough for a camera to be built in, to be hooked up externally, to be able to transmit that signal, for us to look at it somewhere useful, all these things needed all the modern technologies we've got to come together to be able to have this, because this has been something bird watchers have been screaming out for, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely, haven't they?
So $190 you'll pay for this, so not a bad present for someone that you like in your life that likes their birds.
I think that's a great idea. All right, Star Wars fans, you want to add a little force to your story time? This tiny Star Wars sound machine lets every page turn into a space battle. No Jedi training required. That's good news for some people.
I do like the fact that we've got a specific device that's got one job in life. Now, it would be very easy to get on your phone and go and find noises from, Chewbacca, or maybe just having Darth Vader speak, or whatever Star Wars sounds you liked.
Yeah.
But no, you can buy a device that looks like, to use an SI unit here, about the size of 2 cassettes back to back. It's about the size I look at it. It fits in your hand nicely. There's got a bunch of buttons, about 10 buttons across the top, and those buttons are pre-programmed.
Can make sound effects for while you're reading stories.
Well, why limit it to when you're reading stories?
Sorry. Yeah, good point. Good point.
Just have sound effects that
Just
happen.
sound effects.
That's happened.
So have your own lightsaber sound effects.
Correct. And so you're walking down the street and you could just see someone and you just move your arm around in an imaginary way and there's a lightsaber sound. Wow, look at that guy. He's got an imaginary lightsaber that sounds like a lightsaber.
You could be like pointing to something or directing, like you're just talking to friends and pointing, and all the while swishing his lightsaber.
That's right.
I'm doing it now. I'm going to go and buy one of those now, just for myself.
Or you
to
could
make
be
sure
angry. You could be angry with someone and start sounding like Chewbacca. That might be a way to scare them. I really want to do this, and then you make it sound like a Chewbacca. Then maybe they'll go, "Okay, you win. We'll do it your way."
You and your Wookiee noises.
Now, it's just a quick little other story, which isn't on my list, but I just reminded me of something I got for one of my children for Christmas last year, and having sound effects and different noises is cool, but I found a device. Sorry, go back one step. My daughter moved into a new apartment in Sydney, and they had an outdoor toilet. Had an indoor toilet, but had a little outdoor toilet. And so in my mind, when I hear or see outdoor toilet, I think of Red Back on the Toilet Seat. The song that immediately comes to my mind is, well, make sure you check there's no Red Back under the toilet seat. And my daughter said, what do you mean? I went, oh my gosh, where have I gone wrong in raising you? You don't know the song. So what I found for Christmas was a device that was motion activated to make sound effects. But the cool part about this particular one was that you could then drop on a short MP3 file so you could have your own sound effects. So I set up in their toilet a little motion sensor, so when they opened the door of the toilet, it started playing the song There's a Red Back on the Toilet Seat, which I think they thought was very good for about a day. And they were sick of it. So there's lots of cool devices out there to make cool
sound
sounds.
effects devices are fantastic. All right, so if you're looking for a gadget that really lends a hand, this DIY robot arm kit might be your perfect pickup. It is a build-it-yourself learning tool that mixes coding, robotics and creativity, a really clever way to get young techies reaching for the future.
And this is really cool. And I was actually quite impressed with how cheap it was. If you want someone to get into robotics, mechatronics, there's a huge industry there.
Absolutely.
We all know they're designing robots for our homes, which we want desperately, so get out there and make it happen. But if you want one of your kids to be vaguely interested or see if they're interested in that, $70 buys you a do-it-yourself robot arm. Now, it's not going to do a lot. It's not going to make a coffee for you. It's going to do a few basic things, but most importantly, you've got the ability to program this and essentially work out sequences. So you'll be able to program a little remote control that comes with, press the button on the remote control and you'll program a sequence of movements that this particular robotic arm could do. Maybe you could get it to make you coffee. I don't think it's good enough to do that, but you can program these sequences into it. And
challenge.
I think anyone that's got a vague interest in robotics or mechatronics would love this. If they're young and they're just intrigued, this would be a way to really stir it up, or maybe find that it's pretty boring and we don't want to do it anymore. So give them the chance to do either way.
Well, in my household, as a father, but also as a child, there was always tinkering to be done on Christmas Day. And so someone had a toy like this where you could tinker with it, and then you had to build it, and then it did stuff. So you had to, you had to test it out.
And everyone argues over it.
No, perfect Christmas toy.
It is. Don't go that. It's got to go in the left side, not the right side. Don't look at the instructions. I reckon they should start putting out Lego kits for Australian males that say, here you go, here's that Oscar Piastri Formula One car, but we're not giving you any instructions because you don't need instructions. You're a male in Australia. You go and put that car together.
Do it by feel?
That's right.
Yeah, right.
See how it goes for you.
So if your cooking often hits a bum note, this little kitchen cutie might just help you keep time, if you pardon the pun there. A retro vinyl record timer that spins, ticks and tocks its way through dinner. Perfect for home chefs who like their roasts with a side of rock and roll.
This is about as simple as I can get for a tech gadget, for tech
A kitchen timer.
It's a kitchen timer that's got a pretty much analog feel to it. You turn the knob around and let it go and it starts ticking down, but it's in the shape.
It's got the old clockwork mechanism in it.
It's got an old clockwork mechanism, but it's got the shape of a record player. I'm looking at a picture of it right now,
Right.
which isn't much good to our listeners. But if you
But if you can imagine the picture,
that's
folks.
right. If you go and look at it's called the Gift Republic's Retro Record Timer. The dial is literally shape of a record, which is pretty simple. It's a circle, so shape of a record, and the little part where it tells you how long you've done it for is the shape of the arm that would come across and play on a record. So the arm that comes across is probably a fancy name for that arm, is there? The arm that comes across and
the arm that comes across to play the record.
That's the one.
The needle holding arm.
the needle holding arm. So that comes across, you turn it around, you let it go, it ticks away and does nothing else extra. It just looks pretty cool.
It looks like a record player. So if you've ever wanted to see what the kids get up to after dark, these goggles shine a light on the mystery. Literally. Let's delve into the gear-turning backyard, play into nighttime intelligence operations.
So I was really excited about this, and I looked at the price. It's $30, and I went, it's not going to be doing what I think it's going to be doing. I imagined, because the way the ad was running when I looked at this particular one, it was night vision goggles.
Oh,
so,
now this sounds like something that you would order in a comic book from the
right.
70s or the
X-ray goggles or something. So night vision goggles.
Night vision goggles.
We know
You're
they
beauty.
exist, and so I thought that's fine. We know night vision goggles exist.
And kids need them.
That's right, absolutely right. But they're not $30. And I'm thinking, well, that can't be right. And then I started thinking, well, maybe what they are is a bit like CCTV cameras. They do a very good job now for not much money of putting out an infrared signal, and the lens on that picks up that infrared signal. And we can see at night time, pitch black, we can see images through CCTV that are in mono, but pretty accurate mono rather than colour. And I thought, maybe it puts out an infrared signal and the glasses are designed to pick that up, and then we can see. And I'm thinking, $30. It still doesn't sound you can do all that for $30. So I kept reading and kept investigating, and it sounded so good. What these are is basically a torch. A torch that sits on the sides of your
That's
goggles.
pretty high-tech.
That's right.
You heard it here first, folks. We've got a torch.
They pop out the side of the goggles, and so you can turn them on. They're LED. They'll illuminate up to about 7 metres in front of you. Because I was imagining playing...
About 7 metres.
7 metres, that's right.
Okay.
I was imagining playing Murder in the Dark with night vision goggles. How cool would that be? You'd be running around, no one could see you, and you could sneak up on them, and you'd be there playing Murder in the Dark, being the legend of it. But it's a bit obvious when you've got these bright lights turning on, illuminating 7 metres in
Beside
front
your
of you.
head,
That's
yes.
right. You know, I think that's James over there.
You
where
might be
that
better
bright
off
light
with a
is.
torch.
Maybe.
that you hold in your hand.
Then you can cover it up a little bit and make nice little animal signals on the wall or something. So anyway,
But do they look impressive?
they look pretty cool, and
Cool.
they're green in the glass rather than clear.
Well,
That's
in that
important.
case, that means that they are good.
That's right.
So if you've ever wished your voice could go undercover, this gadget lets you sound like a pro spy, literally. Today we're decoding a device that disguises you faster than a witness in a wig. So this is a voice disguiser.
This is a voice disguiser. I'm trying to think of good reasons you could use this, but I'm
Well,
thinking,
if you're interviewing someone who is wanted by the police or actually afraid of being found out by some other bad guys, that's it. Like on those current affair shows and stuff like that where they got the face blacked out. Right. They've had to change it. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right. And do you reckon the current affair use one of these $27 devices?
Yes, they probably do.
That's right. So it can change your voice. 9 different voice settings. You've got distortion, robot, alien, monster, girl, baby. So there's some of the common ones that are used. You talk into it at one end, and then out the other end comes out the speaker with your voice changed in whatever particular way. So I can imagine people using it for a telephone call, but it seems like that's getting up to no good. Maybe playing tricks on someone just as a joke, but maybe also
This is the sort of thing someone's going to walk around with all Christmas Day, just annoying people with.
Talking like a monster.
Talking like a monster, yeah. Just walking up behind people and just talking at them, and people going, that's wonderful, please stop doing that.
I want to buy it just to hear what an alien sounds like. So how do you think an
Yeah.
alien sounds? I'm not sure that we really know. I get the
It'd
girl,
have
I
to
get the
have
monster.
that electronic sort of...
Maybe.
I'm not going to imitate it right now.
But let's
because-
assume that we don't know the language that aliens speak. So presumably, if you talk into it, it could just have a
so it's
garbled
going to
bunch of
sound like
noises.
a predator, and it's just going to...
Or
Maybe. I can't even do it.
I was thinking of R2D2. Or
That's a
having-
droid, not an alien.
That's right, but those sort of
Yeah, yeah.
the beeps and bops.
Beeps and
That's
whistles,
right.
yeah.
Who knows? Maybe Maybe that's an efficient way to talk. Maybe that's an efficient way for aliens to talk when they just talk in one
Anyway,
to
this is
zeros.
one of those things that someone's going to find in the bottom of a box, and then they're going to take it to a party and just,
Annoy everyone?
amuse people for hours.
Well, I was thinking amuse people for minutes and annoy them for hours.
Amuse themselves, perhaps. Okay, so if life has seen you seeing red from stress, these new goggles might help you to see the light. Therabody's Smart Goggles 2.0 blend science and soothing tech to calm your mind, ease tension, and help you drift into better sleep anywhere, anytime.
And I'm not convinced about the science part of it, but it sounds like they're comfortable. I'm not sure
Yeah,
the science behind what they actually do. So Smart Goggles 2.0, compression massage, heat, vibration, so a bunch of stuff there. It's got some biometric heart rate sensors to change the vibration patterns depending on what your heart rate's doing. So I don't know whether that means if your heart rate's high,
Right.
it has lower vibration patterns and then vice versa, but that's what the advertising says. Basically, $300 you'll pay for a pair of goggles that will help you relax, maybe just...
Are these powered by crystals?
That's the kind of thing I was thinking of
Right,
when I
okay.
first read about it. But it sounds like it's comfortable. It sounds like anyone that likes to wear an eye mask. So one of my kids
Yeah.
loves eye masks when they get in a plane, for example, put the eye mask on, and we'll see at the landing point when the plane lands, they wake up again and go, oh, we're here, are we? So something like that. I can just imagine this being nice and soothing, a bit of massage, a bit of heat maybe just to...
Try anything once?
Yeah, that's right. For $300, I want to try it more than once. But it sounds like something you'd want to have a go over in the shops and see whether or not it actually felt good. And then after that, maybe you get them. So they're Therabody, Thera Body Tranquil. So Therabody Smart Goggles is what they're called.
Now, today we're charging into a cleaner kind of power play. A $10,000 milliamp. Let's start that again. A 10,000 milliamp hour bank that boosts your phone and your environmental conscience. Let's plug into Gourmet, the recycled, repairable power bank, turning an old e-bike battery and waste plastic into portable energy.
So are we at the stage already where we're getting old e-bike batteries? I thought e-bikes hadn't been around for long. And
Clearly,
and they're getting old e-bike
we're up
batteries
to
now.
recycling e-bike batteries.
So one of the things that people often say to me with EVs is, oh no, those batteries will be terrible in a few years' time. When they're no good, you'll throw them out, put them in landfill and destroy the earth. One of the things I often say to people is on a car and certainly on a bike as well, you want that battery as close to 100% capacity as possible, 100% of new capacity. As time goes on, that obviously degrades. So you don't then, after 5 or 10 years in the car, throw it out. You say, well, I need that battery really efficient for driving around with, but as a home battery, as something that I would use in a stationary situation, well, that's fine to not be quite as efficient. And e-bikes are the same thing. And so that's exactly what this particular company has gotten onto. Gourmet, G-O-M-I is the company. They've said, well, we've got old e-bike batteries out there that aren't at their 100% capacity now. They might be down to, say, 80%. We can still use them in a power bank, and it doesn't matter if the power bank is not the most efficient thing because you're not transporting around like you are a bike. You might be carried around with you, but they're only fairly small. So
It just makes sense
It
to
does.
recycle in this fashion, that you can still use this. What does it say, 10,000 milliamp hour?
yeah, so that's obviously a lot smaller than an e-bike battery would be. There's no reason they couldn't do it with car batteries. There's a whole range of different types of batteries where you end up with these being used in other things. So that's exactly what they've done here. They've gone, okay, e-bike needs to replace the battery. Take this, let's turn it into a power bank. They're pretty cool as well. They've got some pretty groovy designs on them. They've got plastic waste that's being used for the outside of them to hold them together. So essentially, they're saying this device here, we didn't have to do much to the earth to give you this device because it's stuff that's already been used elsewhere, and so now you can do it. So if you've got someone that's got a bit of a green slant in your life and they need a power bank are useful anytime, then this is the way to go, a Gourmet green power bank.
Okay, folks, we're up to item number 20 here. Tonight we're rolling a new housemate into the lounge room. A pint-sized, wheel-based babysitter bot that promises to keep tabs on kids, pets, and the couch while you're away. But is the Ebo Air 2 Plus really help, or just robo-hype on rails, Matt?
I just think it's a bit freaky that you've got this device roaming around your home looking at stuff, looking at your kids, looking at your pets. You're at work, you want to check on things. So it's got almost...
So it does nothing, but it just watches?
It just watches and just transmits those signals to
right.
hopefully just you, not anyone else.
Okay. All
So
right.
it's got 3K video. It can record that video. It can transmit that video. It's got 137-degree wide angle view, so you've got a fair degree of the room that you go into. 5,000 milliamp hour battery, so basically it can go a full day of standby and some video recording in that as well. And if it was moving around the whole time, it'll still move around for about 4 hours. But you wouldn't do that. You'd move to somewhere, go down the bedroom, check on the kids, go down to where the dogs or cat, dog, whatever they might be.
Looking for action.
Looking for action, that's right. So it roams around the house, but I don't know, you just feel a bit freaky if you were at home and you just look there and there's this little device. It's
Just staring back at you.
That's right. It's fairly small. It's got little tracks on it, so not
Yeah.
good for steps. Can probably handle maybe about, say, maybe a centimetre or two. It could step up is about the most it could do. Only goes along slowly. Maximum speed is 60 centimetres per second.
And
So-
does it have any capacity to be remote controlled at all? Like-
yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can
look
drive
at
it
around.
That's right. You can
You're
look
on
at it
holidays and
remotely.
you want to just have a quick look.
Yeah, so rather than having a
Did
bunch
you
of
leave
cameras
the-
around your house, you just
Yep.
move this around your house, look at different things, maybe go and play with the dog a little bit. Hey,
Well, if anyone's got OCD and they want to make sure that they turn the iron off, for example, you just drive it around and you could check.
I found someone the other day who I was in their house and they took a photo of their stove before we left. And I went, so what was that about? And they went,
the
oh, yeah.
OCD.
That's right. And they said, I always get out and go, oh,
Did
did I leave the stove on? I said, but you didn't have the stove on. I know, but still,
Yeah.
did I leave the stove on? So their solution, which I thought, fine, if that's what works for you,
A very good idea.
their solution, take a photo and you get out and you go, did I have to check my photo? Oh, no, it's right. Yeah. I brought out the fridge. I leave the fridge open. Didn't take a photo of the fridge. So for anyone OCD, Evo Air 2, $600. So maybe not a Christmas present, maybe a Christmas present for yourself, but $600 gives you the ability to drive around the house, look at the stove, look at the fridge, look at the front. Did I lock the front door? Look at the front door and see what's happening there. But it's, again, it's one of these things that's got such good technology in such small packaging. The battery, the actual unit itself, and there's the camera on there, all this technology built into something very small that moves around the house.
I'm a big fan of this.
There you go.
Get to cure my OCD. Now, we did say top 20, but of course there's a 21st. Let's call this our encore. Now, if your Christmas tree is looking a little ornamentally challenged, this year's retro tech decorations might just press your nostalgia buttons. From classic consoles to cult movie moments, these novelty ornaments are giving holiday decor a serious upgrade.
So you heard the cheers, did you? Going, no, give us more, give us more. Oh, okay. Here's one I prepared earlier. We actually did talk about this one a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, but I did like it, and it was a bit of a precursor to Christmas coming up, but I did like it enough to go, you know, we should just mention a little bit. So we have talked about it before, for people that are avid listeners, I'm sure you remember it, but basically you can get lots of little Christmas technology ornaments. So forget the reindeer, forget the traditional Christmas ornaments. You can get an Xbox 360 replica. These are little rubber or plastic things that hang on the tree. So an Xbox 360.
And they're just little replicas of these things.
Correct, that's right. You're paying $20 to maybe a maximum of $100 for these different things.
$100,
Yeah,
wow.
but $100 you get a fair bit for that. Most of them around the $20, maybe $30 mark. A little CRT monitor for people that might remember what they look like. A Nintendo gaming system, a little
Love it.
controller for
Love
those. Just all these sort of things. If
Worth
you
every
start,
cent.
they are. And if you start paying more, you start to get things like the Empire Strikes Back carbon freezing chamber. So you're paying more than $20 for those ones. You're getting some bigger ones there. But you think of any popular movie that has some technology in it, they've probably got an ornament to suit that particular one. So I do know, my kids aren't listening hopefully to this particular episode, I do know what's going to be hanging on our Christmas tree this Christmas, and it's going to be some of these things. The kids will be disappointed. Here's your Christmas present to put on the tree. Is that it, Dad? It's worth $20. Is that it?
Anything else?
That's right.
Is that all?
That's it. So I love the idea of having some technology hanging on the tree.
Absolutely. And that's all we have for you today, folks. It's now time for you to go out and do that shopping. You've got no excuses. We've given you 21 ideas for Christmas. So if you're out of ideas and you don't like anything we've got, we can't help you. We've done our job. It's time for you to do your own.
That's as good as it gets for us. So that's the 7G for Christmas. You've already given me an idea for the 8G. So we've got 8G for next year.
At least we'll get through 2026, but then 2027, I don't know.
9G. Gee, that must be pushing it.
No,
I can see why telcos didn't go an extra G per year. That's just a bit too much pressure. They've usually waited 5 to 7 years between Gs.
I can just see, maybe 10, 15, 20 years down the track. What are we going to be up to? And the whole podcast might just be your introduction.
That's right. Are there enough words saying with G in the alphabet in the dictionary to fill that up? So we have got more to come still before Christmas, but Merry Christmas for people that are listening to this. We are getting, this will be, probably 2 weeks before Christmas that people will be hearing this particular episode. So enough time to get these presents, but don't be concerned that, oh no, that's the end for the year. No, we've still got more coming for the year. So I know people were concerned about that.
That's a relief. Thanks for tuning in today, folks. This is the Christmasiest Christmas episode of Tech Talk you'll probably ever get. And we are very grateful for you for joining us today. My name is James Eddy. I've been your host, and looking forward to catching you again in 1 week's time when we present another episode, a pre-Christmas episode, heading into our new year as well, of Tech Talk with Matthew Dickerson. Until then, take care, and we'll see you when we see you.